This is a Dude Studios production. And hey, I'm the dude.
Hey bartender, pass me a drink. A reason that I'm here is I need time to think. All the way
Welcome
to
back
the
to Hey
world.
Bartender Podcast. I'm your bartender for the evening. This is Anthony. How's everybody doing out there? That's right, Hey Bartender is back with the Quick Shot episode. Yeah, the Quick Shot episode where we just come in, take a drink, and get the hell out of here because we got to get home for something or another. I don't know, I'll think of something. Oh, been a hell of a week, hasn't it? So sit back, relax. Remember, this is the bar where seasonal depression doesn't know what the hell to do because if you do this right, this bar has no windows and you don't know what the hell's going on outside. So anyway, people, it's the beginning of the show, so we got to start in the natural place when you walk into a bar. The drink special, or the bathroom, depending on what you were doing before you came to the bar. This one comes from Rock Sound Rum. They're not affiliated with Hey Bartender Podcast at this point in time. They are based out of Austin, Texas, and I found a drink that they had on their Instagram page that sounds pretty interesting. This drink is called the Shark Bite. The ingredients goes as follows: a half ounce of Blue Curaçao, 2 ounces of Rock Sound smoked coconut rum, 1/2 ounce sweet and sour mix, and a 1/4 teaspoon of grenadine syrup. Put some cherries on there for topping. Directions on how you do this drink: in a cocktail shaker full of ice, add the Blue Curaçao, or Curacao, however it's pronounced, I always get it wrong, smoked coconut rum, and sweet and sour mix. Shake well until chilled, about 10 to 15 seconds. Strain in a cocktail glass filled with fresh ice, and add the grenadine syrup and top with a cherry. Enjoy. I'll have a picture on Instagram of what the drink looks like. Thank you, Rock Sound Rum, for letting me steal the drink off your Instagram page, whether you like it or not. I like screwing around Instagram and finding these drinks to share with you guys because, that's where the creativity is. That's where the new drinks that you'll never hear about happen, because I could easily go get a bartender's guide or something like that and just regurgitate drinks that are in those things. But, I want to hear from the people that actually take the time to try to be inventive, to try to come up with a new flavor or have that signature drink. That's why I always tell you guys, if you have a drink that you want to share, email me, dude at heybartenderpodcast.com, and so we can, let a couple other people know about the drink, and odds are, you'll make your mark in this world. Whether they actually use your name, you can that was a drink that was invented by you. That's called making your mark. So, and everybody should be able to leave their mark on this world, and whether it's indirectly or directly, you got to leave a little bit of yourself on this world, just for everybody's sake, just to be able to say, yep, I was there. So anyway, people, I'm going to just come up front and be honest with you here. There was a audio issue with the previous podcast that I had already recorded a day or two ago. I am actually recording Wednesday, January 13th. Usually I have these things posted by 7 o'clock, and is honestly now 7:23 Central Standard Time. And I went back and I listened to, just to double check the audio quality of the podcast before I post it and make sure that I got the proper amount of ands and ums and uncomfortable pauses that I usually do in every show. And I listened to it and I was like, this sounds terrible. It's distorted. Something's wrong with my equipment. Because every once in a while it'll do that. Usually I catch it long before posting time, but this time I didn't. So I'm recording an entirely new podcast a little bit later than I usually do because, one, I want to get a show out. I want to talk to you guys, get some things off my chest, the usual thing. But I was listening to the subject matter of the show that I was about to do and became insanely bored with that idea. I was going to talk about something completely different that I'll probably bring up in another show a lot later. A little bit more thought out, a little bit more well put together. But I ran across something on Instagram where, or it was Instagram or TikTok where this person was talking about that they had to go in for emergency medical procedure, or just a medical procedure, maybe not emergency, but they didn't have insurance, as most bartenders, servers, dancers, anybody involved in the service industry that isn't management are likely to not have. We don't have medical insurance, where it's not offered to us, and it is expensive. However, this person was talking about that who they're a dancer, and they were talking about how when they went in and the doctor said you need this done, and they agreed, and she paid for the procedure, and she paid it all in cash. It was like $1,500 procedure without insurance, and she paid it all in cash right then and there, and she got dirty looks. Yes, I was going to try to keep the person androgynous, but I'll just go ahead and admit that she got dirty looks because she paid it all in cash. That's because that's all she had. Now, when you're a bartender, you at the end of the night, whether you're it all depends on how you cash out your tips, and bartenders, servers, it all depends on how you cash out your tips at the end of the night. There were nights where I would just get all the ones, stack them nicely together, put them in my pocket, and then walk out the door, no matter how much money I had, whether it was $100 night or a $300 night, I just stick it all in one pocket and then go home and then stick it in a drawer or do whatever with it. Then there were other nights where I would say, you know what, I don't want to carry all this cash. And then I, quickly separate them into $20 stacks, and then trade all the ones for $20, and then go about my business that way. But it all just depended on my mood. But this person also talked about how when they paid for their medical procedure all in cash, not just ones, but all in cash, she got dirty looks. And it's like, you carry that much money on you? And, and then you start to get a little bit paranoid. And because I'd done that before. I had all this cash on me, and all of a sudden I wanted to make a big purchase. I think one point it was a guitar that I wanted to buy. The guitar cost about $600. I'd saved up my tips for a few weeks, and then decided, okay, time to go in. At this point in time, I did not have a bank account because I owed a few banks some money, and I needed to straighten out my credit really bad. And so I didn't have a bank account, and I just carried however much money that I felt like I needed when I went out. Before I go out, just reach into the drawer, grab $50, $100, and then go out. But I saved up for a couple weeks and decided I really wanted this guitar. And so I go into the guitar store, and I find the guitar, I play it, sounds great, and I decide, yes, I'm going to buy this guitar. So ring it up. And they ring it up, and I got a case to go along with it. And they told me what the price was. I reached in my pocket, pulled out this huge wad of cash, and they kind of took a pause, like, what the hell? And so I started counting out 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, really fast. And I started to get paranoid. And it's like, I wonder if for me to carry this much cash on me, I wonder if they think I'm a drug dealer or stripper, or bartender, server usually doesn't even enter anybody's minds most of the time, because I've seen it. I've been a part of conversations many times where person will pay for their $30, $40 tab all in ones. Now, if they're not wearing some kind of restaurant shirt, like they just got off work, if it's a regular night and they pay you $30, $40 tab all in ones, I've been part of conversations where the person I'm working with will nudge me and go, "What do you think, stripper?" And then that conversation I actually put to a stop real quick and, oh, no, she's a server. She works in that restaurant across the way. And she goes, oh, okay. I said, why'd you automatically go to stripper? And she goes, well, she's pretty. And I was like, then I looked at her and I said, well, you're pretty too. I wouldn't automatically assume you're a stripper. I'd hope you're a stripper. And then, well-deserved, she slapped me. Yeah, I deserve that. Well, it wasn't a slap. It was a punch in the arm. It was funny at the time. Nowadays, I could probably get in serious trouble for that. But that's just an honest story. And joking between employees. We were good friends. I knew who her husband was. Okay, everybody calm down. I'm not being derogatory towards women. That's an honest conversation that happened, and she took it well. To this day, I bet she doesn't even remember that I said it. And at the time, she thought it was funny. But all of us people in the service industry, anybody involved in the service industry that gets paid in tips or in cash, all of us bartenders, servers, dancers, bussers, we've all got cash on us. And making large purchases with just cash, to me, is fucking hilarious. Like, go and buy a sofa for $1,500 and you just start counting out cash. 100, 200, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, 500. And to me, I've always thought it would be hilarious to buy something really big, but start out with large denominations and then slowly get down to smaller denominations like 1,470, 1,475, 1,480, 1,481, 1,482, and watch the people in the store completely freak out over it. I think I remember years ago in an electronics store that I worked at, somebody paid cash for a $5,000 stereo system, and it was one of those high-end home theater ones for 1987. And the cashier immediately, when they saw what was going on, they saw this guy forking out this huge amount of cash. They immediately took his drawer and then gave him a new, dropped all the extra cash and gave him a new drawer to work with, because they didn't want that much money to sit in the register. That had to go in the safe immediately. But it's hilarious to me that sometimes these people that work in retail will honestly judge you if you pay in cash and what denominations that you pay in cash with. And there were a lot of times where I'd come home, or I'd be driving home and realize, I need a tank of gas, and all I got on me is my tip money. And so I pull into the gas station. In Oregon, it's we've got gas station attendants. We didn't have it's not self pumping. And so when my Plymouth Neon at the time, when the guy finishes pumping, I see, okay, it's $35. So I pulled my ones out of my pocket and I count out $35. And then the guy says $35, and I hand him $35 in ones. And he actually stopped and looked at me for a second. And the obvious joke that I could have said there just came from the strip club. But instead, I just said, saw my pimp today. And then rolled up the window and went about my way. And because saying that I saw my pimp, I thought was funnier. Just because I thought they were being a little judgy or questionable about my lifestyle, having all of these ones in my pocket. So I decided, why not play with it? Just because, you got to have a good time with your life. That's just the way it is. Come to think of it, nowadays, I don't know what it is, but back when I was a bartender, a lot of us bartenders didn't have checking accounts. We just took home our tips and put them in the sock drawer or put them in a big jar. And when it came bill paying time, we would go over to the store or 7-Eleven or something like that and buy money orders to pay for our bills. And one of my friends was notorious for that. And I was like, you're using money orders? And she said, yeah, I just use money orders. And I kind of sat back and thought, well, that's kind of more expensive because you're paying a $40 electric bill, but it's really costing you $45 because you're paying $5 extra for that money order. But then as I went, but I didn't judge her. I didn't try to say what you should do is get a checking account at U.S. Bank. No. I wouldn't do that. But I started seeing that a lot of my bartender server friends were paying in money orders when it came to their home bills because they couldn't send cash through the mail. That's absolutely insane and stupid. But it was just an easier way back then. Now everything's basically electronic. Well, ever since I quit being a bartender, I stopped having money in my pocket. In fact, I rarely have cash on me. I always use my debit card for everything because every place out there takes a debit card. And you know how hard it is to transition from always having cash to never having cash on you. It's weird. And to pull out it used to be hilarious way back in the day to watch somebody pull out a credit card for a major purchase. Or even not a major purchase, it's just a minor purchase. They just come into the store, buy a jug of milk, and they have to use their credit card in order to buy that because they forgot to get cash out of the ATM, and they didn't want to use the ATM because it charges a fee. And so in order to do that, they just decided, just put it on the credit card. $1.99 on a credit card. And but if you even want to go further back, before the swipe machines, the electronic swipe machines, you actually had that thing. And you have to sit back and question, what the hell? You're using a credit card for a major purchase? And like milk? Come on. But, to each their own. You kind of had to sit back and accept it. And at least it wasn't, at least the guy was using a credit card and not writing a check for a major purchase. And then all of a sudden remembering, I've got a coupon. And yeah, those people were really annoying. Luckily, you don't see many people writing checks at the grocery store anymore. But oftentimes I feel sorry for dancers that get their tips from the stage, and they have to collect all their money as fast as they can so they can get off stage so the next dancer can come up on stage. I'm not singling out women. There are men dancers out there too, just for some of you people that are that type of person that would say that I'm singling out one race, one gender, whatever. No, there are dancers for both men and women, or however they self-identify. But I feel sorry for them a little bit because when I was collecting my tips, it wasn't necessarily in a neat stack, but I'd have a pitcher, and I just throw all my cash into the pitcher at the end of the night, and then collect it. But the dancers, as they're leaving the stage, they're just grab, leave, get their clothes, and then run off. Now, what they do in the dressing room is a mystery to me, will always be a mystery to me, and I will always enjoy sitting back thinking what's going on back there, even though it's probably nothing all that interesting, but the fantasy is fun. I even told that to Carson Crawford when she was on the show. Before the show started, I told her I was going to avoid asking questions about what happens in the dressing room because I just wanted to leave that to the fantasy, and nobody really needs to know. But I have run into dancers that just got off their shift that came over to my bar, and their purse is just bursting with $1 bills that are all just crumbled up and just shoved in there because they needed to put it away as fast as they could. And was I judgy about it? No. And there was one girl that was a little, yeah, I'm sorry. And I say, hey, money's money. And there are other people that sat back and say, geez, where's that money been? What, are you sure you want to touch it? And that's never bothered me. And, it's not, because, strippers, they didn't, I'm pretty sure they didn't hide it in interesting areas because they had purses, and immediately when they got off stage, they went into a back room to get dressed. And I'd like to think that they put it in a drawer or their designated locker or something like that. And, because what's the point of hiding it on their person somewhere? Besides some of the dancers I used to watch, they made some serious cash, and they'd have to have a lot of room where people said that they hid their money. Now, other adult entertainers or recreational drug sellers out there, they might hide their money in interesting bodily cavities. But come on, people, let's not think too hard on this, because if you sit back and think too much about where something might have been, you're never going to touch anything. There are a lot of people that are into a lot of stuff that you haven't even heard of. I've spent time on other websites, not just the porn websites, but things get hit in strange areas. Things get put in strange areas. Just talk to anybody who works in an ER. That, you'll find out. If you want a good conversation in a bar and you happen to be sitting next to a nurse, if you want a fun conversation, in my opinion, just look at them and say, so is it true that the most common thing to come into the ER is somebody getting something stuck up their butt? And odds are they will look at you and go, oh my God, yes, and have stories for you that will last the entire night. And they are all entertaining, from the story that the person told them how it got up there, and to the story of how they had to get it out and what they did with it afterwards. It's all hilarious. You won't stop laughing. But no nurse has ever told me that they said, yeah, we pulled out a wad of 20s out of this one person. Never heard that. Always had to do with things like Barbie dolls or flashlights. Teach their own. But it did come down to it a lot of times where some people would see me, like I'd go into a 7-Eleven just to buy a pack of smokes, and I decided that night not to change my ones into 20s. And I go into the convenience store and stupidly pull out the whole wad of cash that's in my pocket just to flip out $6. And they would look at me, and there were a couple people that were gutsy enough to look at me and say, what, did you just come from a strip club? And I'd say, no, I just got off work. And they probably thought I was a stripper, because like I said, being a bartender or server, that's not the first thing that's on their mind. Why? Because that's a boring thought. Oh, they're probably a bartender. Oh, they're probably a server. But it's more fun to think, are they a stripper? Could I see them dancing up on stage? And then, give me a quick up and down and go, dear God, not that I'm ashamed of my body. I mean, hey, if I had enough guts to jump up on the stage and start dancing, swinging my thing around, I could probably make it like $10-15 easy. You're not going to body shame me. But try go out there one of these days and make a large purchase with cash. And just because it's fun to watch these people's reaction. You don't have to do like $1,500 worth of furniture or clothing. You just maybe $100 or $200. Try it with just your singles or something like that, because people's reactions are usually hilarious. And that's just the way we're able to handle things. That's the way bartenders, servers, people in the service industry in general, that's just the way we handle our money. Because sometimes it's too difficult to go to the bank and take your night's tips and throw them in your checking account real quick. We just don't have the time. Because we don't, or we just don't see the point in it, because we've got the money right there. We might as well use it. And sometimes seeing the money there encourages you to spend it. But in this day and age of Amazon and buying things online, it probably save your ass from making a lot of idiotic purchases in the middle of the night. Because let's face it, when I was a bartender, since all the stores were closed by the time I got off shift, and usually I woke up, I went to bed maybe as right before some of the stores opened, but woke up and had to go to work, didn't have time to go to the store. It probably saved me from a lot of stupid purchases. But if I was bartender back then, had a checking account and a credit card, being late at night and bored, watching TV, messing with my computer, whatever, I probably would have had a huge Amazon addiction back then. So, thank goodness for small miracles, I guess. Yep, people, I am encouraging you to make a large purchase with just cash. Just remember to be careful when you're carrying around a large amount of cash, because you don't want to get mugged or anything like that, or have people eyeballing you to see where you're going to go, because carrying that much cash can be a little bit dangerous. So remember to look after yourselves, especially when you're coming off a shift. Most people do know that bartenders and servers have cash on them. So make sure that when you get off work, maybe keep somebody, one of your customers, if you work alone, keep one of your customers around so that they can walk you out to your car, or have your significant other there with you. I don't really encourage violence, but remember to protect yourselves, because you never know what could happen. Just because bartenders, servers, dancers, we are well known for always having cash on us. So just remember, take care of yourselves, and remember, it really, really hurts to get hit in the head by a roll of quarters. Okay, people, it is last call for alcohol for this Wednesday Quick Shot episode. Once again, I would like to thank Rock Sound Rum, who is not sponsoring this podcast, for the ingredients for this shark bite. Go check out their website. If you're a rum enthusiast, they've got a lot of products out there, and they do have a lot of great cocktail recipes suggestions. You might want to try it out sometime. And remember, people, I want more guests on my show. I want more stories to talk about. I want to talk more about you. I want to interact with you guys. So if you want to be on the show, you have a cool drink recipe that you wouldn't mind sharing with the whole world, email me, dude@heybartenderpodcast.com. I'd love to read your stories. If you're not comfortable with being on the show, or you want to remain anonymous for work purposes, I'd love to have you on the show, or at least read your story on the show. And drink recipes, always welcome, because I would love to share drink recipes with the rest of the world. And when I say the rest of the world, I look at the map on how far my podcasts reach, and I do reach the rest of the world. Not all of it. There's probably some, there's usually maybe 1-2 people that download the show in the eastern continents, but still, I'm counting that. I'm counting that as Hey Bartender Podcast as being worldwide. Yeah. Just like if you are a band, or you guys know a band that needs a little bit of exposure out in the world, email me, dude@heybartenderpodcast.com, and I will use their song on my show. Because music and the restaurant industry goes hand in hand. I don't care who you are, what restaurant you work at. Every restaurant needs music in the air, because otherwise you feel like you're working in a hole. It's a really weird feeling when there's absolutely zero music playing in a restaurant. Just think about it. So anyway, that's the end of the show. Remember, people, when you're carrying all that cash in your pocket, take care of yourselves, look out for yourselves. And as usual, I just got to wish all of you people lots of love, lots of sex, lots of happiness, and don't take any shit from anyone. Good night.
What do you mean it's last call? I just got here.